when we spoke last week, I was in the office, and today I made it a point that I will come home and will be having this lesson from home. Why? Because on Thursday, the office hour uh, finish at 4:30, 3:30. So I wouldn't want to be caught alone in the entire chancellery office while everybody's on bed. So I'm going home. I told my staff just now I'll be home. All right, folks. So what we're gonna do today is I will do a bit of recap. So okay. So okay. So we will do a bit of recap on what we did last week. So what we did last week was it was a brief introduction, and you are supposed to get into group. All right. So that happened. And actually, don't worry about the order of the lesson today. I'm going to send to you the itinerary, which is actually still under a little bit more of under construction, so that you can keep track with what is happening. I will send that to you. Okay. So you are going to let me know later which group, how do you organize yourself into groupings. And I do hope that you have groups, because we are going to have some discussion on a few things later. Yeah. So that is the quick recap, and be prepared to identify your group. And next, I would like to introduce to you chapter one, just chapter one. Why do I say chapter one? It sounded rigid, but I think it's very important to get used to the terms in strategic management and the phases meaning the stages in strategic management, so that when you talk with your colleagues in future, or when you plan the meetings with your colleagues or with your bosses in future, then you know exactly what is which is where, and where is what which where would be when. So you would be able to say, this is this stage. Okay, this shouldn't happen. That one should happen first. So you would be able to tell that. So that is why we need to go through chapter one today. So I do hope you pay very close attention. It won't be very long. Usually my lecture will be like half an hour. After half an hour, then we go for a very short break, and probably I will introduce to you one clip of movie. My plan was to introduce to you either a clip of movie from the Three Kingdom, or from the latest news of Tesla. Okay, so let's talk about Tesla. But I think I would be inclined, because I can't remember whether I have shown you this in the business communication. So I worried that I might repeat the Three Kingdom. Right. So okay, now ready, folks? So take a deep breath. Let's take a look at chapter one. This is 2:38. So I hope to finish this, let's say 2:43. I have to finish this by 3 p.m. Be prepared with your question. 20 minutes only. Yeah? If anything that you like, you scratch your head, please be prepared with the question. Ask a question. Okay. Now this is the chapter one. Before we proceed, anyone have problem with e-learning, accessing e-learning, getting the documents from e-learning? Anybody? Or something's missing in there? No, right? So all's good, right? Okay. If all is good, then I will proceed with this one. Okay. I'm kind of worried, even though you are quiet, but just to be very sure that you are okay when it comes to e-learning, let me go into e-learning. E-learning, where are you? E-learning. All right, so I'm logging in. Hang on. Okay, let me see if I can share this, and then that you can see what's inside. So e-learning. I think by now you should be very savvy with e-learning. So here we go. So that is Azman Hashim International Business School. So only one e-learning in there. Are you looking at what I am looking at? The e-learning. I'm now clicking SBSD 4033. Are we on the same page?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, cool. right? So you are in there, and then so you have this Admiral Yi Sun Shin. So that's the guy. So that's the logo this year. Okay, Admiral Yi Sun Shin there, and then you don't have the slide, do you? So you don't have the slide. Okay, all right. So now I know where we are. All right. So I think I did not manage to upload that, but no worries. Okay, I will go through that, and then we will do the uploading shortly. All right, that done, and then we will be going back to the PowerPoint. Okay, PowerPoint. Oh, I think that was the different group. Okay, so this is the textbook. We will be using David and David textbook. So while we are taking a break, I can upload all this very, very fast and very quick because we have this at the standby. This is the 16th edition. Nothing much had been changed since the 12th, 13th edition. So this is what we have been using thus far, copyright 2017. All right, David and David, father and son. One is a lecturer, the other one is the strategy consultant. So this book, there are 16 chapters in this book. All right. Basically, we are not going to going through all the chapters. We will look at chapter 1, and then very quickly we will go to chapter 5 because that is vision and mission, and then chapter 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and in the 9, and then 10, 11, probably jump to 16. So because those are really what matters, right? Now, strategic management essentials, chapter 1. What are the things that we need to know here? All right, you see that describe the strategic management process. Actually, if you understand objective 2, you would be you would understand, you would be able to describe strategic management process. Very quickly, let me show you later when you get this slide which part is important. This is the definition, but don't worry about the definition much. So long as you know the 3 stages. If you look at the three stages, right? Let me see. This one, you see? The 3 stages are formulation, implementation, evaluation. Now, I go back to the definition. Okay? Formulation, implementation, evaluation. So basically, it is part here. If you can remember the 3 boxes, you would be able to define strategic management. But what is beautiful with this definition is it says there, strategic management is the art and science of the 3 things: formulating, that is stage 1, implementing, stage 2, evaluating, stage 3. All right, cross-functional decisions that enable an organization to achieve its objective. All right, so the key word there would be the formulating, implementing, and evaluating cross-functional decisions. All right, that is why I tell people, do not be afraid of strategy, because if you make decisions every hour of the day, that means you are actually strategizing every day. And if you are the leader, you like it or not, strategy is your responsibility. Why? Because it is the responsibility of a leader to make decision. Okay, then, okay, if maybe some of you might be thinking, right? Ask questions. But doctor, why don't we just call this decision management? Why do we call this strategy? Remember this. Decisions are many, and we can do many things at one time sometimes, or we cannot do many decisions. We cannot execute many decisions. So some decisions have different level of importance. It has different level of urgency. All right, and it has different level of impact. All right, so you look at the many potential decisions that, not only you, your staff, your subordinates, your peers, your colleagues, so many decisions. They propose decision 1, propose decision 2, propose decision 100, propose decision 200. Okay, now how do you decide? Because why do you have to decide? Because we can only do few things, isn't it? Because why? Because time is limited, manpower is limited, and at the same time, we want to be focused. All right, resources is limited, money is limited. So we can only do 2 or 3 things out of the 100 perhaps. So out of the many potential decisions, and then the team will decide which are the priorities. When you decide the priorities, usually then the top leader, the CEO, whoever lah in the C-suite, then finally will say, who would have the final say, okay, we all agree that these are the 3 decisions we will choose to implement this year. I agree. I will go with this as well, as the top leader, because finally you have the final say if you are the CEO. Or if you are the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, let's say you have a meeting with the finance division, definitely you are the top boss in the finance division lah. So you would have the final say. So you finally say, I agree with this. So by saying that, by deciding now, saying that these 3 decisions out of the many decisions that come to you, by deciding on these 3, by prioritizing on these 3, that's why these 3 now become the strategies. The 3 is just example. Sometimes you probably go 4 or 5. So the decisions that are chosen out of from the many decisions are what we call the strategy. All right. So how do you choose that? How do you prioritize that? That is what you're going to learn throughout this semester, and that is what you're going to prepare throughout this semester. So that's why we call it the science. The science. Okay, there are sciences involved, in formulating, in selecting this. You could do weightage and ranking and etc. But there are arts as well, because in big organization, especially, let's say if you have to make decisions on behalf of colleagues and on behalf of the shareholders, meaning now you are responsible for the decision on behalf of the stakeholders, where the stakeholders has the right to question, especially if the stakeholders put their income into your activities. It doesn't matter if it's a private or public organization. If it is a private organization, then you have the shareholder who put their money, invest their money so that you can do your work. So, and then whatever that you do, you decide, the business must be very good so that it can, give a good dividend for them. In terms of the public organization, taxpayers, they pay tax. That tax money will go to the federal or the central, and then it will be, now considered part of the GDP, gross domestic GDP. You know what I mean? So the GDP, all right, will then after that disseminated to all important agendas. Like some money will go to the hospital, some money will go to the university. So if you are the government servant, you are now entrusted. You are trusted with this public money in order to execute service for the good of the people, for the good of the nation. So you see, it is such a misrepresentation. It is such a misunderstanding if we think it is, the responsibility to be good, to be cakap, what is cakap? To be very effective at your work. This one will be harder when you are in private company. Why? Because the private will fire you if you don't perform well. Because they pay you such and such. Because there are shareholders. Now, shareholders are the few people who put money in the company. All right, but in the public organization, it's the entire nation putting their tax money in order, to entrust you to do good job, to serve the country, to serve the nation. So the responsibility when you are, in future, let's say, when you are the public servant, when you are the government servant, your responsibility is bigger than those working in the private sector. You are answerable to the entire country, from the top businessmen, the top leaders, down to little children. All right, the little children who are not working yet. Why? Because their parents are paying taxpayers' money. Okay, fine. If their parents are, let's say, farmers, but farmers do pay tax as well if they have motorcycle, motorbike. They still have to pay road tax, isn't it? And then if they pay for their groceries and all that, they still have to pay service tax and all that. So that is still taxes. So that's why this must be important. When we make decision, even in the private company, private sector or public sector, we must convince, we must get the buy-in that this is a good decision for everybody. And therefore, you see the word there in front of you, the definition of strategic management, the art. That is the art. You must have the art of persuasion, all right, the art of persuasion, telling people, convincing people, giving people confidence that this is the best decisions out of the many potential decisions that we can make. All right. But you see, then again, not only just art, it has to have the science, the logic of it, the mathematics of it. If it is just this art, there's no mathematics, then people will look at you, really? Is that really? How does that even work? Okay? So you have to prove that it works this way. So you have all the economics formula, you have all the finance formula, you learn accounting, financial, you would be able to talk about the ROI, return of investment. You would be able to talk about the EPS, earning per share. If you invest in my company, okay, for one share, you can earn how much? 50 cents per share. So if you have like 1 million share, ooh, you're making big bucks. So these are the things, the art and science. You see? 3 words, how many words? One, two, never mind the and the, so art and science, 2 words only. We can talk one day about this thing. It's really huge. It looks simple to you. It's very huge. The art and science of formulating, implementing, and evaluating. We will look into that. What activities fall under formulating decisions? Or rather, sometimes we call it formulating strategies. And what are the implementing decisions or strategies? And evaluating them. And when do you do this? Right? So by now you can remember, yeah? All right. So all of this part later on, you can read this. These are just the elaboration. Okay, let's take a look at this now. Okay, the 3 big fasa or phases of strategizing: formulate, implement, evaluation. Okay, what does it mean? So you can take a look here. Strategy formulation usually involves, all right, from the early part of preparing strategic plan, even though you have developing vision, mission, identifying, all that, but actually it starts with strategic audit. Strategic audit means you are taking inventory, taking stock of what the company has, right? Because before you develop vision and mission, right? Developing vision and mission actually is this. You will say, in the next 5 years, our company will become this. And in order to become that, we will do this. We will do this is the mission part. Becoming this in the next 5 years or 10 years is the vision. But you see, before you can even declare the vision and mission, you need to develop it. To develop it, you must have information. That is why strategic audit is very important. So today we will look into how to do strategic audit later on. All right. So there you can see strategic formulation would be from all the early work and then leading up to writing the vision and mission and then doing all the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis meaning if we want to do this, got problem or not? What is our strength? What is our weaknesses? And then out there got demand or not? So that is the opportunity and threat. All right. So once that done, and then we start writing, okay, what are the strategies? 1, 2, 3. So that is, you see there, you say, the generating alternative strategies. These generating alternative strategies are the 100 or 200 decisions. Ayo, why so many decisions? Ayo, because there are so many people in the company. We involve them, we ask them, what do you think? How can we achieve this vision? So everybody will sit down, discuss. Okay, this group have 10 proposals. The other group have 20 proposals. They put together become like 1 or 200 proposals to achieve the vision. But we cannot do all the 200 things. So just now I told you. So then we said, okay, we need to choose. There you go, the choosing particular strategies to pursue. What kind of strategies we need to choose to pursue? According to Jack Welch, Okay, Welch, I can show you the book later. To him, that's why he said that. That's why if anybody asks me how to define strategy, I would say strategy is a decision to win. If you look at the strategy, like, okay, you propose this, to propose this, how can you make sure we win? So if you can convince the boss, this is the strategy and this is the winning we will get in the next 5 years, then say, okay, we pursue this one. And that's how we choose. That is the strategy formulation. So simply put, strategy formulation is whatever that, how when we start from vision to mission up until we write the strategic objective. Okay, but no action plan yet, only the strategy. We want to do this, we want to do this, that's all. I will show you probably later the early part of the document. I don't have it here, but that is the first part of the strategic plan document. Only up to strategic objective. Sometimes they call it strategic priority, but you don't see action plan yet. Action plan means like to do what in the quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, and to achieve what? What is the KPI? What is the target? You don't see that part yet because that would be the second part, and that is the implementation part. And this one, strategy implementation, you know what? It can be confusing, you see, even though it sounded like implementation, but this part is not asking you to do. This part is where you prepare the document on how to do it. So this is where you do action plan. All right. All right. So you will say, okay, this program, who will do? Everything's still on paper, but it will be very clear. If you show it to your friend or another group, they will look at it. Oh, okay, they know how to run. If they know how to start the activities, right? So you see, I got two stages already. The first part is still the higher level, the conceptual one, and then the second part will be how to do. And then the third part, evaluation, is in the let's say the execution. Okay, next year we will execute the strategy that we say we want to do. We formulate it this year in 2021. We formulate the strategy, but we will implement it in 2022. So the strategy evaluation is for all the work that we do in 2022. Okay, so that means January now, everybody pay attention, look at the strategic formulation, the strategic plan document, the vision and mission, the strategy and the action plan. So 1st January 2022, start execute. So execute until probably quarter one is up. Quarter one within 3 months. So March, end of March, now everybody report. Capai target not? Did you achieve target? So everybody, all department, achieve target, below target, beyond target, and all that. So report. This is the evaluation. Who will do the evaluation? Usually the team. They will look what kind of evaluation you can do. Number one, you will look at the uh, surrounding factors, meaning has there been any change in government or not, any change in the leadership or not, any change in the economy or not, the currency drop or the currency, or all these things. You look at it. Why do you need to look at it? Will it affect what you want to do, what you have done for the past 3 months, and will it further affect the next 3 months? Okay, and whether or not you need to change your action plan. That means, what do you mean by you change your action plan? Do we need to bring in plan B or not? Right? So, okay, then you say, oh, there are few things changing, like whether we can manage these changes or not, very rapid. Then to decide on whether or not to change, and then you look at the performance. How do we do so far? Despite the challenges, we're still okay. Some even perform good. So you measure the performance. All right. So could you please silence yourself, whoever you are? Please mute yourself, whoever you are. Are we done? Good. Right. All right. Now I will continue. All right. Then you measure the performance. You look at that. So, and from the performance, and then you bring in the data analytic, the analytic part. You analyze it. You analyze whether what you do is actually giving impact for the company, let's say reputation for the company, income. So you're talking about measuring the impact, all right, the impact. And if then you are not up to the expectation, let's say the performance are not up to expectations, still not good, something is wrong, and then you will take the corrective action. So these are the 3 steps. So that's under evaluation, and that's it. That is the basic introduction for chapter 1, which is very, very simple. All right. So there are some other key terms here. Competitive advantage. I would put that very simple. Competitive advantage is if you can do something better than your rival. So you have the competitive advantage. Strategies would be if you are leading the strategic department, all right, then you are also a strategist. But the number one strategist in any company is the CEO, all right, the CEO. Who is the strategist of our country? The Prime Minister. That's why if anything go wrong with the country, we don't have to look far. Just look at the Prime Minister. The state of Johor. Who should be the strategist of the state of Johor? The Chief Minister, Menteri Besar. University Technology Malaysia. Who is the top strategist of University Technology Malaysia? The Vice Chancellor. All right. So he would be the one that holding the strategy. Because if the company is successful, he will get all the praise, he or she lah. If it fails, on your shoulder. All right. And vision and mission statement, later we will do this in chapter 5, not to worry. So you can take a look at that. So very simple English, vision, what we want to become, mission, how to get there. Okay, what we must do to get there. This will be chapter 6, external opportunity. Into the strength will be chapter 7, and then opportunities and threat, the key term. All these are the things that you can read on your own. We will go along with this as we go along with this, and then we will see all these things again. Yeah. So where are we now? Where do we want to go? How are we going to get there? When I in the early stage of when I lead strategic planning, this is usually what I will ask with the organization. Even the at national level. The first thing I would ask them, where are we now? So when we do where are we now, what do we do? How do we answer this question? And that is where we do the strategic audit. The strategic audit, prepare, where are we now? Leaders okay, tak okay? Our finance okay, tak okay? Where are we now? Position compared to the competitor, where are we now? And then the next stage, where do we want to go? And then we start developing the mission and vision. How are we going to get there? And that is where the bengkel or the strategic planning workshops, how to formulate how to generate the strategies, alternative strategies, and how to select up to the point where you come up with the action plan. Okay, so this is the comprehensive model. Do take a look at this. So you see there, vision and mission analysis, chapter 5 of the book. Okay, and there you have chapter 6 and 7 will be the internal external audit. Don't worry much about where the boxes are. It's very fluid. One thing I can tell you, a very seasoned strategist, you can see the person will never do the same thing. They will never do the same thing. They will never do one thing twice. Every time they come back, they will have different ideas, and that will be a good strategist. All right, agility. All right, so this is how the entire chapter played out, and we will go through. You see, not all chapters there. Chapter 5, chapter 8, chapter 6, 7. So chapter 8 is important, chapter 9 is important, chapter 10, chapter 11. That's all we will be focusing on. And then that will be also your final examination. Not that hard, all right? Okay, the benefit of this, I think you know lah. The benefit of it, all you have to do is just look at this one guy. Mana? Sun Tzu. So yeah, there you go. Excerpts from Sun Tzu's The Art of War writings. War is a matter of vital importance to the state, a matter of life and death, the road either to survival or ruin. Hence, it is imperative that it to be studied thoroughly. I love strategy. I love strategic management. In fact, I cannot imagine after this, talking about other topics or teaching different topics. I'm going to do strategy until the end of the end of my living life, because it's so interesting. Okay, the second part, know your enemy and know yourself. What is this? This is the chapter 6 and chapter 7, internal factor, external factor. Okay, know your enemy, your competitors. All right, so that will be the opportunity and threat. Know yourself, that will be the S and W of SWOT, strength and weaknesses. And in 100 battles, you will never be defeated. I keep telling people, SWOT, the SWOT exercise, is very important. Even this old man himself, a very respected old man, uh, even said that. I will show you perhaps. I do have my pet talks. I did discuss this in my pet talk. Yeah? The the Battle of Myeongyang, by Admiral Yi Sun Sin just now. Skillful leaders do not let a strategy inhibit creative counter movement. What is this? A skillful leaders will not stick to tradition when it is required to change and change 180 degrees. Right? If the decision for the past few years has been to go the direction of A, but all of a sudden you are facing some opportunities or threat which in your gut feeling, your your gut feeling, your instinct, your leader instinct telling you no, it should be this way. And of course, other people will no, but we have been doing this for many years like this. Why change? Why rock the boat? Apalagi for donkey years. Our leader, grandfather, ancestor has been doing it like this. Cannot. Ah, so whether or not you will do creative counter movement. Only this morning, I had a meeting with my staff. Okay, so now we are finished. Yeah? I'm just sharing with you my story. I stop share this. I had a meeting this morning with my staff at 10 a.m. A briefing. I rushed all the way this morning to UTM, Skudai, 40 kilometers from here to Pasir Gudang, and we had a briefing. And then we discussed the timetable. We are going to have a big gathering with our leaders in Kuala Lumpur, 26, 27, 28 November. Okay, sooner, very soon, with all the board of directors, where we are going to present the strategy for 2022, 2025, and especially the action plan of 2022. But most especially the futuristic. Actually, we went to Malacca and we did a little bit of futuristic strategizing. I think I've shared with you with that. So then my staff prepared the timetable. However, part of the timetable is that one part of the timetable is one slot to discuss the year 2020 arising matters from the board of directors. That means earlier this year in January, the board of directors raised some concern and issues. All right, raised some concern and issues on the strategic plan in January. So they put it 2020. Why 2020? Because the meeting was supposed to be in November last year, but pushed to December because of the pandemic. And then they thought the pandemic will be okay. Sekali tengok, okay. December also not okay. Then finally they pushed it into January. But January we're supposed to kickstart the entire thing. I said, I cannot wait anymore. Cannot wait for the pandemic. January 2021. Just let's organize the big gathering, big sit down with the board of directors and tell them this is what we're going to do in 2021. Okay, so when they have a meeting, so they raise their concern. Comment 1, comment 2, comment 3, comment 4 lah for each strategy. The comment. And that's why they called it Matters Rising 2020, because the activity itself was brought forward from 2020. Kalau in bahasa Malaysia, they called it Laporan Perkara Berbangkit. The short term will be LPB or LPB 2020. Okay, but they put in the schedule, in the timetable. So now let's discuss the LPB 2020 in November 2021. So what have we been what have we been doing in that long months from let's say February until October? No one is doing things to address this. I said that why are we addressing why are we addressing why are we addressing the board of directors concern voice in January, in November, you know, because by default, all right, it goes to show that no one is taking charge of this when the board of directors raise concern. So I was like, very cute. And then my staff said, no, doctor, we have been doing it like this for so many years. I thought, really? Yeah, because this is my first year become the director, you see. Like this. They even have record, the timetable. You like this year like that year like that. I said, my goodness, didn't we settle this thing in February? And they said, yeah. And then finally we prepared the report. I remember asking them to prepare the report in September. Hey, how come until now not yet settled? So prepare the report in September and then bentangkan in the next director meeting. So they said, okay. Dah bentangkan still want to raise it. Because, yeah, no, because it is always like this. Can change, doctor. Of course, take it up. And then they all look at me, still look at me. I said, look, listen. I said, do you know the story of a black cat in the ashram? Do you all know? Okay, I will end this first part with this ashram, this black cat in the ashram. Now, I would like to see how many people know this story.
No, doctor.
Okay, so Danish said no, only 1 out of 44 don't know. How about the other 43?
I don't know.
Okay. The black cat type first. Okay, let me tell you the story. I think majority also the rest don't know. Now, now listen well. So that you might have a good laugh, but sometimes it really happens, 100 years ago, dah cerita afternoon ini, this is like what fairy tale storytelling. Now, all right, this is very famous, in many books, teachings. 100 of years ago, all right, there is this one ashram. Ashram is a devotion center, something like a temple. Right? There's a holy man in that ashram. Holy man, meditate, whole day meditating, day in, day out meditating, which require peacefulness, very minimal movement when you meditate, correct? You meditate, right? Very minimal movement. Slight movement might distract your meditation. So meditate. And then come out of nowhere, there's a black cat. The black cat comes in and, like meow, 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 so noisy, moving in and out of the ashram, really distracting. So he let it on the first day. And the second day also the cat will just, cat being cats, animal being animal, just meow, meow. So this, I would say maybe the Sami of the temple, the Sami of the ashram, couldn't stand it anymore. So he went and he caught the black cat and tie the black cat, tie the black cat to one of the pillar of the ashram a little bit further from where he meditated. So because the man, the Sami is a holy man, everybody will look at whatever he's doing as a sign of divine. You see, so he tied up the black cat to the pillar of the ashram. So and then, but he never explained to people why he tied up the black cat to the ashram. And we all know by now why he tied up the black cat to the ashram, because the cat is simply a distraction. And then after years, okay, so the cat memang maintained lah, being tied up to the pillar of the ashram. After years, and then the old man died. So when the old man died, and then the cat also died. Of course, they were worried when the cat died. We have to maintain the tradition, there must be a black cat tied to the pillar of the ashram. So what do? They look all the entire village into the next village for generations. Every time they find a black cat tied it to the pillar. So according to them lah, until to this very day, that particular ashram, when each time the black cat died, you would need to look for another new black cat to be tied to the ashram, because the first founder, the Sami last time, he did that. Do you understand the story behind that? All right. Okay. Do you understand the story behind it? Right? Without understanding why the cat, the black cat, tied up to the pillar of the ashram. So I told that to my staff is that they had a good laugh, and then finally they said, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna tie the black cat to the ashram." Okay, good. Get rid of that cat. We don't have to find another cat to be tied up to the ashram. So um, it was an interesting morning I had with them. So they said, yeah, you know, it's very important in future, very near future for you. You will be in the industry soon. Use your common sense. I know it sounded rude sometimes when people ask you to use your common sense. But you know what? If we don't have friends telling us to use our common sense, sometimes we forget that we actually have common sense. We have sense. It's just that we just, oh yeah, they do like that. Follow lah, follow lah, follow lah. Their common sense doesn't work anymore. So please remember, use common sense. Not because when people tell you that, it's not rude. It's just like, yeah, I do have my common sense. Okay, let me question this while at it. Okay, now go for a short 5 minute break, stretch yourself, and then we will come back with Tesla. Let's take a look at what did Elon Musk up to these few days, for the past 2 days. All right, ladies and gentlemen, be back in 5 minutes. Oh dear, I'm supposed to be finishing at 3. I see lah. Can talk until that. Okay, let's say, no, say 3:16. We will start at 3:25. Okay, 3:25, few more minutes. 3:25. Make your coffee if you need. Then this is a good time actually to sleep, especially on Thursday afternoon. So do go and make your coffee. 3:25. Gentlemen, I am back. Are you back?
Yes, okay, we are here.
Are you guys are back? All right. Let me share with you that next the story.
Doctor, we can't hear you very clear.
Okay, is it better now? Can you hear me? Is it improving? If I push it like this, is it improving? Is it better? Is it okay?
No, it's like breaking the voice.
Mm. So you say it is breaking. Can you all hear me? I went to another planet for a while just now.
Yes, nice. Very clear.
That's secure. Can you hear me? Testing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay. Is it better than just now? The voice,
Yeah, much
the
better.
volume. Okay, very clear. All right. I'm sorry about that. Maybe the spaceship has just passed my house probably. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now what I'm going to tell you next would be, okay. Before I proceed, everybody had got their attendance in order. Don't forget your attendance, because very important. Um, who knows? The university might just go and, at the end of the semester, say, hey, I'm going to check the attendance. And alamak, you're not attending classes. So please ensure that your attendance is full. What I'm going to do at the end of the session,
Doctor, still cannot hear your voice clearly.
you should be very concerned with your attendance. Please take good care of your attendance. So I hope in the next session I will not be talking about the attendance. Not clear again, huh? Uh, okay. How about now? Can you hear me now?
No, is still not clear.
For a while. Okay, while I am figuring my way. Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah, now can hear.
Better, huh? Better, I hope. Huh?
Mm.
All right. Okay, thank you, Hazel, thank you. That was Hazel's, huh? Was it your voice, Hazel?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, okay. Good, cool. Attendance. Like, Chief, hold on, I get the attendance. Okay, just for the final walk through the attendance, yeah. So everyone, please, okay, sort your attendance out. So here, quickly, take a few more minutes to get your attendance in order. 40 out of 44, so there are 4 of you still lost out there. Please take charge of your attendance. You might, this little square QR code thing can make life miserable if you're not uh, recording yourself. 40, 44. Who are the 4 of you out there? Please signal to your friend, remind your friend, be there. I will grab myself a glass of water. Hang on. Okay, young people. Okay, 41. Nur Aina. Faiz? Faiz belum ni lagi. Not yet. One. Okay, 3 more to go. Okay. I'm going to sleep this. Okay, good. 23. One more to go. Who's another one? So close this. I will send you the. I will now extract the attendance absolutely. So it's not even push. For the past few days, the internet has been buzzing. Is that because Tesla now become the most valuable vehicle company in the world. Okay, a company that's producing cars. No other company had ever achieved that feat in the world. So, I think the system is very slow. It's cruciating slow, right? So, this is this is not what I'm supposed to do, but I just don't want us to get onto Do you see the YouTube I'm about to show you?
Yes, can see the YouTube.
I was driving to work.
Doctor, we barely hear you. It's like snap in between. I mean, your voice is quite good, deep, not very loud.
Wonder why I mean,
Doctor, is it the microphone issue? It's not the connection, Wi-Fi connection.
Still also you can hear me very clear, right? I don't use this. So I'm going to tell. So I'm not going to use this. So please bear any kind of clanging and all that behind my back because we have a family home. Is that okay with all of us? Okay. So, let's do already. I will disconnect this.